Peace and blessings. We're coming to you with another episode, another podcast, and today we are talking about forbidden possibilities. Forbidden possibilities. What if I told you that everything you think you know is a fallacy? Everything you believe, everything that you think is truth, that you've been taught, is possibly a misconception, a lie. What if I told you that so many of the things that we've been led to believe are science fiction or fantasy or just plain out fake are really the truth, really have been suppressed from us, really has been hidden from us? And so often we dismiss the realm of possibility of the imagination as, pure ideal, pure fantasy, something of Hollywood, fictitious, false. For instance, I'm just going to throw some things out there that with a little more study and a little more patience and a little more reading and, feeding yourself knowledge, you can enrich yourself. Time travel. We know that time is a social construct, that it's not really real. What is a minute? What is an hour? What is a decade? If no one ever told you what a clock was, if no one ever quantified what time was for you, how would you define that? I want you all to do some research on a group known as the Wing Makers. The Wing Makers. Google them. Do some research on the Wing Makers and time travel. And while you're at it, do a search on the Montauk Project. The Montauk Project. MONTAUK. Montauk. And while you're at it, swing on over by the Philadelphia experiment. The Philadelphia experiment. And we know these were actual governmental projects that were swept under the rug. And so often we don't hear about things until they go awry. We don't hear about them until it's long gone, it's history, and even still, history is depicted and told by those who are the ones who write it, the ones who control how it will be spelled out, not how it actually was. And so because of this, we know that we've been fed some lies. And I'm going to show you where I'm going with this in just a second. But your self-portrait decides your conduct, how you see yourself. And if someone is constantly delivering images of you as someone or something defeated, something that has limits, that has a ceiling, that has a box around your growth and what you can produce and what you can do, then your conduct is going to fit in that box and fit in that construct. Think about the concept of anti-gravity and free energy. What that could do for you. What that could do for your dreams and how that can power your future. Your imagination is more important than your knowledge. That's why so often I think that it's a great idea to immerse yourself in science fiction sometimes and so-called quote unquote fantasy. Because fiction is far more real than reality. And I'm not saying that to sound deep and philosophical or to sound, esoteric. I'm saying that because that is really the truth. And most people are not even going after, let me just pause for a second. Most people are not even going after what they want. And probably that includes you. Even some of the most serious goal seekers and goal setters and, quote unquote leaders and influencers, they're only going after what they think they can get. A lot of times when we look for a job, for instance, when we look for a job based on what we believe we can get. There's a few people that say, to hell with it. I know I'm not qualified for this particular position, but I'm going to go ahead and take a stab at it anyhow. But even still, in doing that, the motivation behind it is not a motivation of fearlessness and, big-mindedness. It's more of, I'm desperate and I don't care, let me just figure this out. But I can say to you, if you went after things, not just what you believe or think that you can get, but what you feel and believe you deserve, and stretch yourself and stretch your imagination, you would start to see quote unquote miracles, forbidden possibilities occur in your life. And so some of you are saying, well, how? That doesn't even sound legit. How is that? How can I do that? Well, repetition. Repetition is one of the most powerful techniques of our minds. And repetition connects the subconscious with the conscious mind, if you will. So what that means is, and great marketers know this, great companies and corporations know this. That is why they inundate your social media with ads, advertising campaigns. They inundate you as you walk down the street, on the sides of buses, on billboards, in commercials, on radio commercials, television commercials, movie ads, book trailers, movie trailers, etc., etc., etc. Because they know that repetition connects. It is the bridge between the subconscious and the conscious mind. And if you know this, you will begin to consciously and on purpose use the technique, the mnemonic of repetition in your life. That is why I'm always repeating vision boards, vision boards, vision boards. Not because I'm trying to sell the secret, not because I'm trying to sell you on some mumbo jumbo bullshit, but because it works. Because it works. And I'm an example that it works. I can only tell you what I know that works. Things that I've seen done, not only by my own, testimony, but others. When you keep certain words and images before you, you are slowly etching it into the gray matter of your brain. And so that means not just vision boards, but goals every day. What are your habits? What are you doing every day when you wake up? Are you waking up and falling out of the bed and jumping on social media to be programmed by what someone else is repeatedly programming you with? Or are you using repetition to program yourself? And so I can guarantee you, if you took 66 plus days, because we know it takes at least 60 to 66 days for a habit to be ingrained, to change the neural pathways and the gray matter of your brain, the hypothalamus, if you will, to get that ingrained in your subconscious mind and to start acting out into the conscious mind of your life. You need 60 days of doing something repeatedly. And by that time, if you're doing it on purpose and you're doing it with a conscientious motive behind it, it becomes a habit and it becomes a part of your life and who you are. And so I say to you, if you went over your goals each and every morning, each and every day, each and every night, there's something called the 5-hour rule. Most powerful men and women, millionaires, billionaires, world leaders, influencers. I'm talking about on a global scale. I'm not talking about your local celebrity. I'm talking about serious legends who stood the test of time. There's a 5-hour rule. And the way you look at that 5-hour rule is 5 hours out of your day, you're using that time to read and learn new things. And you're writing out lists of ideas. A lot of great minds do lists. But you can break it up into the first 2 hours that you wake up in the morning. What are you devoting your time to? Those first 2 hours must be devoted to some type of miracle morning, some type of meditation and prayer. Or if you don't, if prayer isn't your thing, which I can't understand why anyone would not want to pray. Because in this world that we're living in, you kind of need some type of higher being to guide you through. But those first 2 hours cement your day. So those first 2 hours you want to spend and occupy it with prayer, some type of meditation, some type of exercise for your mind, for your body. You may go for a walk. You may drink tea and meditate, or do some type of yoga, some type of calisthenics, some type of, Tai Chi. But those first 2 hours are crucial. But I say in those first 2 hours for the next 66 days to 90 days, you want to really every day go over your goals and your aspirations and your dreams. Write them out with your hand. Print them out. Read through them. And if you don't have goals, you're totally lost. You've already lost. And your goals should stretch you. Your goals should consist of forbidden possibilities, things they told you can't do. And we know that there are so many forbidden possibilities. There are people who have way less than you, far less qualifications. There are people with 4th grade educations, people who dropped out of high school, and yet they're millionaires, they're business owners, they're successful, they have a huge empire, they have huge families and legacies they're leaving. How does that happen? Forbidden possibilities. Don't ever let someone tell you what your limits are. You control your limits. Do you want to know what you think about most of the time? You know how I can tell what you think about most of the time? Take a look at the results you're getting. That will tell you exactly what's going on repetitively in your mind, in your consciousness, in your realm, in your spirit, in your soul. It's playing out in your life. And if you don't like those results, you have to change the things that you're thinking about and change the things that are in front of you. That means your goals and what you're looking at. And you have to keep saying it to yourself. Repetition appeals to our innermost parts. Even Adolf Hitler, the Führer, the Third Reich in Germany, he knew the power of repetition. And so he would have on the loudspeakers, you can follow this up, do your research. You know, that's another thing. So many of us, we don't even know our history. We don't know our history. We don't know the world history. We don't know the history of our nations. And we don't know self history, knowledge of self, knowledge of our people, of our families even. Most of us can't even go back past grandma or great-grandpa or great-grandma. We're stumped. And so because of that, we're forced to repeat some of the same mistakes that those who were just before us. And I'm not talking about, you don't have to go all the way back to ancient Egypt or ancient Babylon or ancient Persia. I'm saying you can just go back 100 years, 200 years. And so much of what was happening 100 years ago, 200 years ago is a reflection of the way things are today. And so if you want to fix some of the things that are maladjusted in our society today, in 2016, in the 21st century, the age of Aquarius, you got to go back to the Piscean age. You got to go back to 100 or 200 years ago, 300 years ago, and see what was happening. But I was saying Adolf Hitler during the time just before the Holocaust, he would have over the loudspeaker that would blast out to the cities and to the towns, reinforcing to these people their superiority as an Aryan race. And so they really believed this. They internalized this because he used repetition and repetition mnemonics. It's a technique. And it works. And again, all marketers know this. That's why they keep the same things in front of you. That's why you know McDonald's jingle wherever you go in the world. That da 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 da. You know that because they keep repeating it to you on the radio, on TV, on the movie ads. As you're riding down the street, walking down the street, it's on the side of the trains. And so they just keep repeating these to you. And before you know it, you've internalized it, you've accepted it, you've embraced it. It becomes a part of your life. It becomes a part of your lexicon. It becomes a part of your vocabulary. It becomes a part of your being. And so you start to crave and want things that you would not have wanted or desired had you not been inundated with that type of psyop, if you will. Keep before you the ideas of wealth, health, and progress. Wealth, health, and progress. Always declaring to yourself that you are healthy and wealthy and radiant and wise and abundant. Because I can assure you that the powers that be, what you see on television commercials, movie ads, radio ads, are always going to try to convince you that you are less than, that you are not worthy, that you need these products or these services, or you need to lose weight, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. You need to purchase something to be worthy. But you have to, that's why it's imperative. That's why I do these podcasts. Because you have to keep the image of health and wealth and prosperity and radiance present for yourself and for your children, for your family, but mainly for yourself. Repetition. Because even when you turn on a television, even if you don't watch TV, so many of us don't watch TV. Even if you don't watch TV and you just go online, you're checking your Facebook or your Twitter feed or you're on Tumblr or Google Plus, what have you, just standing in line at Starbucks looking over at the newspaper, and you're going to be inundated with, all the terrorism that's going on, all the mass murders, all of the children being killed, and ISIS and the Islamic State and warfare and Donald Trump and this corrupt leader and that corrupt leader and all the corruption. Why is that? Have you ever just asked? Forbidden possibilities. Why are we inundated with so much negativity? Are there not positive, wonderful, healthy, good things not happening? Sure, they're happening. Of course, good, optimistic, positive things are happening. And there are positive beings doing all types of positive, uplifting, inspirational, wonderful things every day. But we don't see that. That's not what we're shown. That's not what is repetitively put before us. Even when you look at the recent quote unquote mass shooting. Now understand, people, and I'm not trying to sound insensitive. Please understand. I'm not trying to be insensitive. But people are dying every day. That's nature's way of keeping population levels, pretty balanced. So people die every day across the world. And ironically, most people are not going to die by the hand of a gun or a bomb or any type of weapon. Although I'm all for peace, I'm a pacifist, I'm all for peace, but most people are going to die from a health-related issue. That's just statistically speaking. So I say that to say most people are dying every day by the hundreds and thousands, but most people are dying from, heart attacks, strokes, diseases, viruses, infections, and things that their immune system cannot fight off. So it will really, behoove you to just kind of take care of your physical, as opposed to rallying against another man or another woman getting a hold of a gun. Because truth be told, those who really want to inflict harm, they're going to inflict harm whether they use an airplane, a bomb, a gun, knives, a car. People who are evil in their spirit, they're gonna find a way to inflict harm and death by any means necessary. And so I say to you, you want to keep your electromagnetic energy and your aura so positive and uplifted with repetitive thoughts of health and wealth and life, abundance, inspiring things that keep you uplifted and keep you lifted up higher minded things, that you don't even get caught up on the vibration or the wavelength of somebody that's on that level, if that makes any sense. But when they're showing you repeatedly, these mass shootings, why are they showing you this? And so you have one set of people who say, well, they're psyops. They are false flags. They're not real. And there's some people who are like, to hell with the conspiracy theories. People have died. People are being shot. What's going to be done about it? But I say, whether it's a false flag or not, why is it being shown to you? And why is it being repetitively shown to you? Whenever there's a mass shooting, and recently we've seen just an influx of them. Why are they showing them? To ask yourself again, forbidden possibilities. Why are they showing this to you? And you have to begin to decode the programs that are being inflicted on you. Why the mass shootings? Why now? Whether there's an agenda behind it or not, why? Always question why. And I would also say, make sure while you're repeatedly keeping images and ideas of health, wealth, happiness, abundance, optimism, inspiring things, life, health, wealth, progress, doing well, feeling well. As you keep those things in front of you, begin to slowly turn off the TV, turn off the news, don't even look at it, don't even read it, unless it affects you directly. Meaning, it's going to impede progress for you to go to work or, have access to your loved ones or your children or your family. If it does not affect you directly, don't even take it into your psyche. Because what good is it doing you to constantly be bombarded with it? It's not doing you any good. You have to, in order to bring about those forbidden possibilities, I'm talking about time travel level stuff, free energy, secret sciences, the suppressed sciences, Jedi abilities that you have that have been shut off. They're lying dormant at the pit of your spine because you have turned it off. You've turned off the forbidden possibilities. The only way to get it back started is to shun all that is being shown to you to keep you at a sheep-like sleep level, dream state level. Most of us are in the dream state. And another problem is we vacillate. We're all over the place, I talk to some of you guys sometimes, and I always say, what are you working on? What are some of your goals? And so in the beginning of the year, everyone's optimistic and positive. Oh, I want to go forward with this. I'm pursuing this degree, or I'm pursuing, this career. I'm working on this. I want to get married, or, we're trying to travel to Dubai. We're trying to, we're trying to travel to New Guinea or what have you. And then 6 months later, it's like you're doing something altogether different. Oh yeah, no, that didn't work out. So we've become a generation where we just flip-flop. We're all over the place. We don't know how to see things through to the end. We don't stay focused. And so any little distraction knocks us off our block, and we're, oh, I want to do this one day, and then 6 months later, you're doing something different. And then another 6 months later, you're doing something different. And you're constantly changing. And so your goals are constantly changing. What you think you want is constantly changing. And nothing happens that way because you don't have any laser focus. It's like turning on the heat to boil some water, and then every 5 minutes changing out the pot on top of that fire. Well, nothing is gonna boil because you're not giving it time to cook. So repetition, keep certain ideas before you, and stop vacillating. Stay focused on one thing and see it through to the end. Finish what you start. Most people don't even finish books. They read some of it, it gets boring, or they start doing something else. And now with all of the social media, you have notifications coming to your phones and your devices, and then you're talking on the phone, you're watching TV, you're doing this, you're doing that, and so we're all over the place, and you have all these tabs up in your mind, and that keeps you fragmented. And as long as your mind is divided and fragmented, that monkey mind is always going to be running wild. That lizard mind, if you will, is always going to be hopping to the next subject, the next idea. You're never going to see things through to the end, and you can never bring anything about when you're all over the place. All daydreams and goals will come into our reality if we just keep them before us. And anyone who's ever achieved a real goal can tell you this. And again, I am speaking from experience. If you say you want to write a book or finish a book and you want to get published and you have to sit down and be habitual, and you have to be disciplined with that process. If you want to build anything, if you want to build a website, if you want to build a business, if you want to build a following, everything has to take place organically, and you have to be committed to it. And so all too often, we say, oh, one day I want to have this or go here and do this, and then we don't do any of the shit we're supposed to do to bring it into fruition. And so whose fault is that? Again, forbidden possibilities. It's all on you, really. You hold all the cards. You hold all the cards. Constantly say to yourself, I will, I will, I will, I will, I will, I will, I can, I will. I will. Don't ever allow yourself to, when you're talking to somebody about your goals and the things you want to, bring to pass, don't ever say, well, I'm trying. I'm not, well, I would like to, graduate from business school one day. I'm trying to write a book. I'm trying to start a podcast. I'm trying to start a business. Someday I'll get married. Someday I want to have a kid. Someday I'll travel and I want to go see, Alaska. Just say, I'm doing it and work towards it. Just say, I am a business owner. And sit down and do the research and put pen to paper and start to give birth to your ideas. And so make them tangible through your actions, but never vacillate and say, oh, well, I don't think that'll work because I don't have any money. Understand, listen, money is never an issue. Money, yes, you need money to do just about everything, but that money will come. I promise you. Again, I'm telling you stuff I know. And if you start to put the powers of your mind and your subconscious and your psyche out there and start to bridge the gap between your subconscious mind and your conscious reality, you will start to see things fall into place overnight. People will start to come into your life just out of the blue with financing and ways to help fund your dreams and your aspirations and your goals, and it will happen. You are the one that is the speed bump on your own obstacles, just by not focusing on it, vacillating, not being repetitive about what it is you say you want, and not finishing strong by actually applying yourself each and every day. It has nothing to do with anyone else but you. I promise you. You're only affected by what you allow yourself to be affected by. If it's increased sales you want, write that fixed amount. Let's say, you say, you know what? I want to earn $300,000 in sales, commission over the next 12 months. Write it down. Put it on a Post-it. Keep that Post-it in front of you. Put that Post-it on your laptop. Put it on the mirror where you brush your teeth every morning. Put it on the window in your car. Put it somewhere that you're going to see it every single day. Put it on your refrigerator door. So every time you go to open the refrigerator, you see that, you see that Post-it, $300,000 in 12 months. Because this is keeping it in front of you. You have to program yourself with those repetitive mnemonics. But write that amount. And you may not see it in 6 months. Hell, you may not even see it in 12 months. But you will see it. You will see it. And the quickness that it happens for you depends on you. No one else. Nothing else. Again, you are your own speed bump and you are your own gas pedal. And that's why some people, things come to pass for some people a lot quicker than they do for others, because they understand the science behind this. They may not know the technicality, the definitive vocab behind it or how it works, but they know that it works. If it's the love of a man or the love of a woman, a new car that you want, anything, no matter what it is, you can have it. But write it out. Write out the vision. Keep it in front of you. Be strategic about it and be repetitive about it. Write it out. Keep your desires in front of you at all times. And especially place what you've written where you'll see them daily. Again, on the mirrors, where you brush your teeth, near your bed, etc., etc., etc. And you want them to be photographed clearly. You want your desires and your dreams and your aspirations and those forbidden possibilities, all that they told you you could not have or could not achieve. You want those things to be photographed clearly onto your mind until they come to pass. And don't tell anyone your desires. That's another thing. Some of us talk too damn much. You talk too much. You talk too much. You tell too many people your business, and little do you know, they're shooting out darts at you behind your back and putting knives in your back and coming against you and the things that you want. And you'd be surprised, because sometimes it's coming from the people that you think are really for you, and they're not, because they're jealous of you. They envy who you are, what you have, who you're sleeping with, how you dress, this, the way the sun bounces off your hair, little shit like that. You just never know what sets certain people off. You have a lot of empty people out there that are masquerading as though they're whole, and they're not. And so there you are, girl. Yeah, I'm trying to get married this year, and I'm trying to go on ahead and have this baby and graduate from business school, graduate from law school, and I want to start my own firm. And guess what? Soon as you hang up the phone, they, in their mind, they're just like, they won't say it, but they're envious of you. And so they're putting out an energy that is anti to what it is you're trying to do. And you'll be met with opposition and resistance and don't even know where it's coming from. There's no limit to what you can do, but you and the energy you expend. That's the only limit. Forbidden possibilities. I'm talking about things they told you this is not possible for you to even do. It's not possible for you to have this. It's not possible for you to see the world. They told you that. You're broke. You don't make enough money. It's not possible for you to have that career path. Forbidden possibilities. Keep in step with the world's current events. And I'm not talking about, again, sitting up watching the news. I'm not talking about sitting up and being programmed by what someone else is deciding to program you with, deciding what stories are important. And why is Kim Kardashian's latest outfit more important than what's going on the global stage? What if I want to know what's going on in Uganda? I want to know what's going on in Johannesburg. I want to know what's going on in Ghana. I want to know what's going on in Belize or Honduras. I want to know what's going on in Canada. I don't care about Kim Kardashian's latest outfit. Because someone else is determining what stories are important to you, for you. You're not determining that. So you have to keep in step with the world's current events by increasing your knowledge. And larger things will begin to come. And so that means you're going to have to go to the library. Now there are some materials, primary sources. You want to go to the primary source. How do you know that anything happens? When they tell you, oh, there was a mass shooting last night and 100 people were killed. How do you know that's factual? Were you there? Did you see it with your own two eyes? Did you hear it? Did you talk to the person who was there and you saw their blood, you saw their flesh? And I'm trying to get you to understand, until you hear it from the horse's mouth and you know that you know that you know that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt because you have evidence and proof, don't believe shit. And the only way you can do that is by going straight to sources. And the only way you can know about and be abreast of what's important and be a visionary as to what's going on in the world is to go to the library. So some things you're not going to be able to get on Amazon.com. And for everything you can't get on Amazon.com, you are going to have to go to your local library. I always say, it's funny, we pack out the clubs. We pack out the malls, but we never pack out the libraries. Isn't that funny? When that's the key to having everything it is you're trying to have. Everywhere you're wanting to go. The key is in the library. It's in a book. All the hard work and the heartache and you banging your head against a wall and making mistakes, you could read a couple of books and they'll tell you in a few hundred pages, this isn't going to work, but this will work. But because so few people actually apply themselves and sit down and go to the library and actually research and do their diligence, they go and make the same damn mistakes that somebody else made and who could have told you that's a mistake. That won't work. So try this. This works guaranteed. So that means, again, increase your knowledge. Enlarge what it is you know. Enlarge your skills. That means getting into the flow. Getting around those, getting into the zone of what it is you're trying to do or where you're trying to be. Get around the people who are already doing it. In sports, you never want to practice with someone who you're better than because you don't get better that way. You want to practice with somebody. If you're trying to get better playing tennis, you don't go play your little sister or your little brother. You go play somebody that's better than you so you can learn how to up your game. And it's the same way with careers and, technology and anything else. Business, philosophy, banking, media. Skills, talents, abilities, you get better by getting around people who are better and who can teach you techniques and show you how to tighten up. Measure yourself and then study those around you. Know what you want. Because so many of us don't know what we want. We really don't. When it really comes down to it, a lot of us really just don't even know what we want. We don't even know where it is we want to be. We say, oh, well, I want to be wealthy. I want to be comfortable. But what is comfortable? How much money is it going to take for you to be comfortable? You say you want love, you want affection, you want companionship. Well, what does that look like? What does the perfect companion look like for you? If you're tired of Netflix and chill, you're tired of just being somebody's jump off. You're tired of just being a phone call for somebody. You want something more substantial. Well, what is it that you want? And are you sure that you say you want and believe you want isn't already staring you in the face, but you're expecting it to show up in a different package? So you're missing it all together and it's looking you in the face. But if you don't know what it is you want, you won't even know if it's right there in your lap and you lose it. Forbidden possibilities. Stop getting distracted by things that have nothing to do with your goals. We major in minor things and we minor in major things. And if you have time to be on Twitter, you have time to be on Snapchat, you have time to be on Instagram, you have time to watch hours and hours of TV and watch the playoffs, and when you're watching, the game, and you're watching Love and Hip Hop, and you're watching Real Housewives, and if you have all this time, why are you not where you want to be? Because in my mind, only people who have a whole hell of a lot of free time have time to do those things. And if you don't, if you haven't reached your goals and you're not where you want to be, I'm not knocking anybody. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I'm not knocking anyone. But until you have achieved your goals and have touched some of those so-called forbidden possibilities, you don't have time to watch TV, mindless TV. You don't have time to sit up and watch the playoffs and watch the championship. You don't have time to do nothing. Because life is short. When you subtract the time that you spend at work, the time that you spend sleeping, the time that you spend in traffic or commuting, your average little time in a day that you have a free time for yourself to actually grow yourself and enlarge yourself is very small. That window of time is minute. So don't give that time is precious. That time is like diamonds and rubies and gold. It's platinum. Don't give it to something that isn't worthy or doesn't warrant your platinum plated time. It's up to you to hone your gifts. It won't nurture itself. Your gifts won't nurture themselves. Your talents won't nurture themselves. Your skills won't nurture themselves. A saw cannot be sharpened by itself. Hold yourself to 120%, not 50%, 120%. Because a lot of times we know when we're fucking up. We know when we need to get our shit together. You don't even need anyone to tell you, get your shit together. Get your shit together. You have to hold yourself accountable. And I get passionate about this because I get tired of people coming to me complaining and crying, and they're not where they want to be and they're not happy. I don't even want to hear it, honestly. Unless I know and you know that you're holding yourself to 120%. Don't sidestep. Give it all. Why not? The worst that can happen is you'll be exhausted. You'll be tired. But at least you'll be a lot closer to what it is you're trying to do. You'll be a lot closer to achieving and having those forbidden possibilities. And just because you're where you think you think you're on the top doesn't mean you're going to stay there. So in a lot of ways you have to remain kind of hungry for more, just so you'll keep elevating. Because a lot of times for some of us, we think we've arrived. We graduated, we have the career or the business that we think it is that we wanted to do. We have the family, we have the 2 kids and the white picket fence and the and the SUV in the garage or what have you. But unless you stay focused and continue to look towards the hills and to elevate what it is, your goals, you'll slowly fall off. Slowly fall off. And then you'll look up 5 years later, 10 years later, and you're not where you're no longer on the top. Every stage in your life will require a new mindset, will require new skills and talents and abilities. It's going to require a whole new way of thinking. Because a lot of the stuff that you're doing now, you couldn't do it with what you knew 10 years ago. You wouldn't be qualified to even be on this level. And so where you're trying to go, the realm of forbidden possibilities, is going to require you to step up your game. And I'm going to leave you with that. I hope I didn't step on too many toes, but every now and then, I have to remind you guys that life is short and it's real out here. And everybody is not going to reach the promised land. And so I leave you with that. I bid you farewell. Have a wonderful rest of your day and evening. Peace, blessings, and we'll see you next week.